Hey guys, happy Saturday. Greg here with Trans Wolves, and this week we're talking about mental health. So, I think this is a hard topic for me because partly the way I grew up, you were just always supposed to be okay, and if you weren't okay, you were supposed to act okay and pray about it, which are not really very effective ways of dealing with um, mental health issues. Not that faith can't be um, an important tool for you, but to expect someone to pray away serious problems is unrealistic and unhelpful. So um, that's kind of the background I came from, and I still find it kind of hard to talk about mental health, partly because I feel like if you talk about struggling with, like depression or bipolar or anxiety, that partly they're like everyone says they have anxiety these days, and everyone claims to have depression. And it's just like, oh yeah, well everybody gets depressed. Everybody has a case of the SADS, and so I feel like it doesn't really get taken seriously. And then at the same time, within the context, especially of being trans, I feel like people, I guess just me personally, like I feel like I need to be okay. I have to project success, I guess. So I struggle with showing weakness, and so I feel like talking about struggles that I have had in the past, kind of don't serve me well. So I don't like to talk about it a lot, but I think it's important to talk about it. And I was in and out of Christian counseling through my teens and mostly teens, and found it well into my 20s. I didn't find it helpful, and especially when I lost my faith. I was a very Christian-y Christian, like I really believed, and then that started to kind of cave, and once I didn't have that anymore, it seemed really kind of silly to go to the Christian counseling that I no longer believed their dogma, and trust them to help me. So I actually quit seeing them, and then I realized that um, I wanted to transition, and it was really hard to find therapists that would work with me. I had found therapists that would work with me as a cis straight female, but they weren't willing to work with me, especially if my goal was to transition, um, because they just didn't like it. And I am in a pretty conservative area of the country, so um, with that said, when I was 20, let's see, 22, about 22, um, I kind of reached a breaking point, realized that I didn't want to go on the way I was going, and I had tried medication and talk therapy, and it hadn't worked for me, and so I got into an intensive outpatient program initially because my eating disorder had really gotten out of control, and I needed help with that. But one of the things that they taught in that was cognitive behavioral therapy. And then after I finished that program, I went on and did another like 6 weeks or a month at a different program for the cognitive behavioral therapy. And I found that much more helpful than any other form of therapy that I had because it helped me to, I guess, first of all, identify emotions. Part of being raised in an environment where you're not allowed to have feelings and you're not supposed to express them is that you have trouble identifying them. So I learned, kind of how to identify feelings and then ways of regulating emotions. So I found it very helpful, and I've tried talk therapy since then, and I still, for me, have not found it very helpful. For me, the cognitive behavioral therapy was where it was at. So anyway, I have been diagnosed with the eating disorder and have struggled with that. It's mostly it's the under eating, over exercising to an extreme version that I have issues with, and it comes and goes. I've gotten much better at managing it with time and experience, but I think it's one of those things that you just kind of always carry with you, and you get better at dealing with it, but it never quite goes all the way away. And so when I get really stressed about things, I tend to go kind of down that rabbit hole. But I've also been diagnosed by a couple different doctors with bipolar disorder, and honestly, I think that that's a misdiagnosis. I think it was just a combination of not having any skills to regulate emotions and not realizing that I could transition and feeling very trapped, and that and major depression, which I was also diagnosed with, and I think is probably pretty accurate. So there was that, and then generalized anxiety disorder were the main things that I was diagnosed with. And I think, my whole life, anxiety's been an issue. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized that it wasn't normal. So when that gets bad, I get really bad about checking behaviors, among other things. And, sometimes it's embarrassing and kind of humiliating. And you end up late for things, and people think you're nuts. And, you're checking the locks for 15 minutes, and people on the street are watching you, making fun of you. And, what can you do? Obviously, theoretically, you could stop, but it's easier to just check the doors the prescribed number of times, onlookers be damned, than try to deal with the anxiety of not finishing your routine. So, anyway, after transitioning, kind of the farther along I get on this, journey, and I'm sure part of it is, age, and also, steps that I've taken to take better care of myself. But I definitely think that living, trying, not feeling like you have to live a double life, just living as myself has really, really helped my mental health. And I think believing the lie that you need to either have all your other issues sorted out and have all your stuff together before you can know for sure that you need to transition or that transitioning will help you. Um, instead of looking at it that way, just trusting trusting your gut and your heart and your head, and not worrying about uh, that. And yeah, so for me, for me, self care, it's definitely a lot of active stuff like running and lifting and yoga and like spin class, stuff like that. But um, I kind of had to be careful because that can go pretty fast. It can shift from being self care into like compulsive exercise territory. That's a kind of dark place for me. So that, and a good book is always good. Music, I guess for me, I have. I feel like life is very short, and if you don't abide in the moment, and you're not present, then that's time that you never get back, and you don't know how much time you have. You just have this moment you're in. And so although I'm as guilty as the next person of sometimes, escaping and, binge watching TV or whatever it is that you can pretend like this world isn't real, and you don't have to deal with all the things that are piling up around you. Um, I guess for me anyway, I always regret that, and I wish that I had stayed present and worked through things in that moment, because time is precious. And be gentle with yourself, and don't expect other people to understand or look out for you or support you. You are your biggest advocate, and oftentimes you when you're at your best, you know what you need, and you can set up safeguards for yourself for when you're not at your best. So anyway, I don't know if this was at all helpful, because I really don't really enjoy talking about this. I'm not going to go back through and remake this video a whole bunch of times like I usually do. So what you get is what you get, and take what's helpful and take care of yourself. So I'll see all you guys next week, and have a good, safe weekend.